He reported the food missing to get a refund. I caught him eating it. The vibration in my pocket didn't feel like a text message, it felt like a foreclosure notice. I was sitting at a red light, the engine of my 2012 Honda Civic idling with a rough, rhythmic shudder that reminded me I needed an oil change I couldn't afford. I pulled the phone out of the mount, expecting another $4 offer for a 10-mile drive. Instead, the screen was flashing red. A crimson banner stretched across the top of the Dasher app, blocking out the map, blocking out the hope, blocking out the sun. Contract violation. Order not delivered. The customer for your recent delivery at Oishii Sushi has reported they never received their food. I stared at the screen. The light turned green. The car behind me honked, a long, aggressive blast, but I didn't move. I couldn't move. My hands were frozen to the steering wheel, gripping the cracked leather so hard my knuckles turned the color of old bone. No, I whispered. The sound was swallowed by the hum of the heater. No, no, no. I checked the time. 1:15 p.m. I had dropped that order off exactly 7 minutes ago. It wasn't a leave at door order. It was a hand it to me order. I remembered it perfectly. I remembered the house, a sprawling, white brick colonial with a manicured lawn that looked like it had been cut with nail scissors. I remembered the customer. Kevin. A guy in his early 20s wearing a backwards fitted cap and a t-shirt that probably cost more than my weekly grocery budget. I remembered looking him in the eye. I remembered handing him the massive, heavy paper bag stained with the condensation of expensive fish. Thanks, boss, he had said. He even gave me a fist bump. A literal fist bump. And now, 7 minutes later, Kevin was telling the algorithm that I was a thief. He was telling DoorDash that I had stolen his lunch. For Kevin, this was a free meal. A life hack he probably saw on TikTok. A refund of $142.50 to spend on video games or crypto. For me, this was rent. I had 3 days to come up with $800. I was grinding 12 hours a day. 1 contract violation puts your account at risk. 2 gets you deactivated. I already had one from a month ago when a restaurant forgot a drink and the customer blamed me. If this violation stuck, I was fired. I was done. I was sleeping in this car. I felt the heat rising in my neck, a prickly, radioactive sensation that started at my collarbone and crawled up behind my ears. My vision went a little blurry at the edges. It wasn't just anger. It was the primal, cornered animal panic of poverty. I pulled the car over into a gas station lot. I put it in park. I looked at the app. Kevin reported, order never arrived. I looked at the map. The blue dot of my location. I was 3 blocks away. I didn't think. I didn't weigh the pros and cons. I didn't consider the terms of service, which strictly forbid returning to a customer's address. I threw the gear shift into drive. I spun the steering wheel hard to the left, my tires screeching against the asphalt. You want to play games, Kevin? I hissed through my teeth. Let's play. I drove back. I didn't speed, but I drove with a terrifying, focused precision. I turned back onto Oak Creek Drive. The houses were large, silent, and imposing. I saw his house. 4022. And then, I saw the scene that made my blood boil. I parked my car 2 houses down. I didn't want him to hear the rattle of my muffler. I wanted the element of surprise. I got out. I pulled my phone from my pocket. I opened the camera app. I switched to video. I hit record. I crept along the sidewalk, using a neighbor's hedges for cover. There he was. Kevin was sitting on his front porch. It was a beautiful porch, wraparound style with expensive wicker furniture. He wasn't alone. 2 of his friends were there. They were laughing. They were drinking beers. And on the table in front of them, spread out like a banquet, was the missing order. The black plastic platters from Oishii Sushi were unmistakable. The bright green wasabi, the pink pickled ginger, the elaborate dragon rolls topped with mango and eel sauce. It was all there. Kevin was holding a pair of chopsticks. He picked up a piece of nigiri, salmon, looks like, and popped it into his mouth. He chewed, closed his eyes, and did a little happy dance in his seat. "Bro, this tastes better when it's free," Kevin laughed, his mouth full of rice and theft. "You actually got the refund?" one of his friends asked, dipping a spicy tuna roll into soy sauce. Instantly, Kevin bragged, swallowing. Dash support is a joke. I just said, driver never showed up. Boom. Full credit. Plus I tipped 0, so I saved like $20 there too. Savage, the friend laughed. It's a loophole, man, Kevin shrugged. They have insurance for this. Driver gets paid, I get paid. Everyone wins. Driver gets paid, I whispered to myself. I stepped out from behind the hedge. I didn't run. I walked. I walked with the steady, heavy gait of a man who has absolutely nothing left to lose. I held the phone high, the red recording dot steady on Kevin's face. I walked up the driveway. The gravel crunched under my boots. The friend facing the street saw me first. He stopped chewing. He elbowed Kevin. "Yo, Kev," he muttered. Kevin turned around. He saw me. He saw the phone. The color drained from his face so fast it looked like a special effect. He froze, a piece of sushi halfway to his mouth. "Enjoying the lunch?" I asked. My voice was calm. Terrifyingly calm. It carried across the lawn like a bell. Kevin dropped the sushi. It hit the porch floor. Whoa, Kevin stood up, wiping his hands on his shorts. "What are you doing here? You can't be here." "I'm just documenting a miracle, Kevin," I said, walking up the steps onto the porch. I zoomed in on the sushi platters. I zoomed in on the receipt stapled to the bag, which was sitting right there on the table. Order for Kevin. 1:05 p.m. Is that the invisible sushi? I asked. The sushi that never arrived? Because it looks very solid to me. It looks like you've eaten about half of it. Get off my property. Kevin shouted, trying to muster up some aggression. You're trespassing. I'm calling the cops. Please do, I said, stopping 3 feet from him. Call them. I'll wait. In fact, let's call them together. I'd love to show them this video. Kevin's eyes darted around. He looked at his friends. They were shrinking back, trying to disassociate themselves from the situation. They knew. They knew this was bad. Look, man, Kevin's voice dropped. He put on a fake, conciliatory smile. It was just a joke. A prank. You know. We were just messing with the app. A joke. I repeated. You reported the order missing. Do you know what that does? It puts a contract violation on my account. One more and I lose my job. I lose my income. I can't pay my rent. Is that funny to you, Kevin? Is my homelessness a punchline? Bro, chill, Kevin stepped back, holding his hands up. I didn't know. I thought the company just ate the cost. Look, I'll call them back. I'll tell them it showed up. Okay. Just stop recording. It's too late for that, I said. The violation is already there. The fraud is already committed. You stole $140 of food. In this state, theft of services is a crime. And since you used a wire communication, the app, to do it, it's technically wire fraud. I was bluffing a little on the wire fraud, maybe, but I didn't care. I wanted him to sweat. I'll pay you. Kevin reached for his wallet on the table. Here. I have cash. Here's $100. Just delete the video and leave. He held out a crumpled wad of $20 bills. I looked at the money. It was tempting. God, it was tempting. It was gas money. It was groceries. But then I looked at his face. The smugness was gone, but the entitlement was still there. He thought he could buy his way out of consequences. He thought my dignity cost $100. I don't want your money, I said. I want my record clean. And I want you off the platform. I lowered the phone, but I didn't stop recording. I'm sending this to DoorDash support right now. And then I'm filing a police report for theft. You're ruining my life over sushi. Kevin screamed, his voice cracking. You're a loser delivery driver. Who cares? I care, I said. I turned around. I walked down the steps. Hey! Kevin yelled. He grabbed a sushi roll and threw it at me. It hit my back, leaving a smear of sticky rice on my jacket. I stopped. I turned back slowly. I pointed the camera at the rice on my jacket. Then I pointed it at him. Assault, I said. Thanks for the bonus charge. I walked back to my car. I locked the doors. I didn't drive away immediately. I sat there and opened the Dasher app. I went to the help section. I opened a chat with support. Agent, hello, this is Maria. How can I help you? Me, I am reporting a fraudulent non-delivery claim. I have video evidence of the customer eating the food on his porch 10 minutes after reporting it missing. He also assaulted me when I confronted him. Where do I send the file? Agent, oh my. That is very serious. Please upload the file to this secure link. I uploaded the video. It took a minute on the 4G connection. Agent. I have viewed the video. This is unacceptable. I am escalating this to the trust and safety team immediately. I have removed the contract violation from your account. Your rating will be restored within the hour. Thank you, I typed. Agent, we are also deactivating the customer account, Kevin M., permanently. We do not tolerate fraud or abuse of our drivers. I smiled. The red banner at the top of my screen vanished. My account status returned to high ratings. But I wasn't done. I drove 2 blocks to the police station. It was on my way back to the zone anyway. I walked in. I showed the desk sergeant the video. I showed him the rice on my jacket. I showed him the receipt. Theft by deception, the sergeant muttered, nodding. And simple assault. You want to press charges? Yes, I said. He thinks it's a game. We'll send a car over, the sergeant said. Oak Creek, right? We've had issues with porch pirates in that neighborhood. Seems like the pirates are living in the houses now. I went back to work. I had to. The rent wasn't going to pay itself. An hour later, I got a ping for a new order. It was a Chipotle pickup. Easy. $8. As I drove back past Oak Creek Drive to get to the restaurant, I saw a police cruiser parked in Kevin's driveway. I slowed down. Officer Miller, I recognized him from the station, was standing on the porch. Kevin was standing there too. He wasn't eating sushi anymore. He was arguing. He was waving his hands. Then, I saw his mom come out. She was a tall woman in a business suit. She looked furious. She wasn't yelling at the cop. She was yelling at Kevin. I rolled down my window just a crack as I coasted by. You stole sushi. I heard her scream. With my credit card on the account? Are you stupid? Kevin looked down at his feet. The cop was handing him a citation slip. It wasn't handcuffs, they rarely arrest for petty theft on the spot unless you run, but it was a court summons. He was going to have to go to a judge and explain why he tried to scam a working man out of his livelihood for a spicy tuna roll. I drove past. I didn't honk. I didn't yell. I just kept driving. My phone pinged. DoorDash, additional compensation added to your last delivery. $5. It wasn't much. But it felt like $1,000,000. I worked until 10 p.m. that night. I made my goal. I went home, ate a sandwich, and slept like a baby. The next day, the video hit Reddit. I had blurred Kevin's face, barely, but the audio was crisp. The internet did its thing. People found him. Not because of me, but because he was dumb enough to post a TikTok bragging about the sushi glitch 2 days prior. The comments section was a war zone. Imagine stealing from a dasher. This kid needs a reality check. I hope the driver sued him. Kevin deleted his social media accounts by noon on Sunday. I heard from a friend who dashes in the same zone that Kevin's address is now blacklisted. No driver will go there. The app won't even let you place an order to that geolocation. He has to pick up his own food now. And every time he walks into a restaurant, I hope he wonders if the person behind the counter has seen the video. I hope he wonders if they know he's the guy who tried to ruin a stranger's life for a free lunch. I'm still driving. I'm still grinding. But I bought a body cam. It sits on my chest, a blinking red eye, watching every handoff. Kevin taught me a valuable lesson. Trust no one. Record everything. And never, ever mess with a man who knows where you live and what you eat. So, tell me. Am I the monster for confronting a customer at his home and getting him prosecuted, or did Kevin just choke on his own greed?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.